Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Here in this video, we're going to be getting into a little bit of news that I think you guys will be welcome to hear. A fund is buying up AMC stock pretty aggressively. One of the more aggressive buys that I have seen within the last, couple of months. So I do want to share that with you. We also have some other data to go over, I guess, if you will. A couple different people are sharing some facts that I think you need to know if you are an investor in our markets. Now, on top of that, we're just going to get into a well-rounded AMC stock update besides those few things. So let's get into it, guys. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Remember, you are blessed. Your family is blessed if you are here on Christmas Eve watching financial videos on stocks, things most people don't care about, and you either have a passion for or a desire to change your family's destiny. So congratulations to you guys. I mean, that's just it. You guys are bellwethers out there. Yeah, doing great things. So continue to keep up the good work in 2024. That's what I'll say. Don't want to get too sappy on you guys. I know it's just not yet, okay? Let's go ahead and get into it. So first things first, let's start with the good news for AMC. I guess you'll call it good news. I don't exactly know how to interpret this. This is just one firm, but we have seen this trend, especially last quarter. AMC Entertainment. Shares acquired by SG America's Securities, LLC. SG America's Securities, LLC boosted its position in AMC by 3,234.8% in the third quarter. According to its most recent filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the fund owned 1,274,309 shares of the company's stock after purchasing an additional 1,236,097 shares. So the fund went from owning, if I'm looking at this correctly, about 1 million shares or 1,000 shares to 1.2 million shares. If I'm looking at that correctly. It says SG America Securities LLC owned about 2.45% of AMC Entertainment, worth $10.2 million as of the most recent filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission. That's quite a chunk they are, acquiring at this point. And we've seen this time and time and again over the past 3 months or so, 4 months or so. Firms are actually buying a lot of AMC stock. The problem is AMC's management, dilution fears, and concerns. That is really what is keeping AMC stock tame right now. That's really not allowing the stock to go on a larger rally. I do think as more liquidity comes into our markets, as it looks like a better investment to invest in our markets, I think that ultimately will happen. More cash will come into our markets, and you will see a rally in just the broader markets. Not really your Magnificent Seven names, not your stocks that have done very well, but you will see a large rally in small mid-cap stocks as well as, a stock like AMC. That will also do well in my personal opinion. So I did want to share this with you guys. It just follows the trend that we have been seeing. Although this firm owns 2.5% of all AMC stock outstanding, this was a very large buy for this firm in the latest quarter. And this news came out about 4 hours ago. Now, we don't have any specific news to report to you guys in regards to the Willy Wonka film, the new one. But I've heard a lot of good things about it. I know quite a few different people that have already went to see the movie. So hopefully that does help fill in a little bit of the gap in the movies that we are going to see, especially to start the first half of 2024. The writers, actors strike that really screwed a lot of things up. But it looks like that film might put out some numbers for AMC, so definitely something I will be watching for as well. Although we don't have any numbers right now, I'll tell you the numbers are probably looking pretty good. Now, let's get into some stats here on our markets, what's going on right now, and then we will get into more of AMC, go over the numbers and the charts, all of that. So Seth Golden shared this. If bearish on 2024, remember this. You are betting on a fourth bear market happening in a 6-year time period. The last time this happened in S&P history was ... never. So, I mean, if 2024, we do go into a bear market and things are bad, I mean, this would be unprecedented. This would be a first for stocks. And, I mean, are you willing to make that bet? I'm definitely not. Now, Gary Black shares this. He says, falling real GDI has correctly predicted 12 of 12 recessions since 1950. It's why there will be a Fed pivot by spring of 2024. This is the original post. He says, since 1950, this contraction has only occurred either just before or during recessions. There has been no false signals. Divergence with GDP has only been observed just before recessions, with GDP turning lower. Buckle up. This is why we've got the Fed pivot. And that's basically what you're seeing right now. GDP is, rocketing higher again, and your real gross domestic income is falling, right? Gross domestic income, gross domestic product. These are very important metrics. I know GDI, some of you guys were like, well, what the heck is that? Real gross domestic income. And as you can see, anything under the black line, you do, and eventually end up in a recession from 1950 until even, more recently, the Rona. Now it looks like you have slightly went negative as well. But I would say maybe it's not too late. Okay, if we can get the Fed pivot, if we can see things kind of start to turn around, real incomes have started to go positive again. If those trends can continue and we don't go, that negative here, maybe it can be averted. Maybe the recession can be averted. All trends or historical references end up wrong at some point. So I wouldn't draw a definitive conclusion here that you are heading into a recession. It's really too early to tell if we'll stay inverted or not, stay negative or not, but it definitely does not look good for right here and right now. Charlie Bellio, Chief Market Strategist at Creative Planning. Stealing my name right there. He says, the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index has now been below 75 for 29 consecutive months, surpassing February of 2008 through May of 2010 as the longest period of extreme negative sentiment on record. So this is one of those things that could say, hey, if you really have this negative sentiment, well, maybe we do head into a recession. Maybe we've been in a recession the whole time and the government's numbers have just not reflected that. Or you could say maybe we've been so negative that things get better from here and we actually never go into a recession to begin with. That's a possibility as well. Maybe it's just so bearish that looking ahead, it gets better, right? That's always a potential outcome as well. Some interesting, stats on our markets and recessions that I think all of you guys could benefit from seeing. Now, let's get into more of your, AMC specific news here, or data, I should say, not really news, but data. Let's take a look at Ortex first. AMC stock was down about 0.5% in after hours on Friday, up about 0.5% in regular trading on Friday. Overall, pretty flat day, slight loss, but not a big deal across the board. Now, if you take a look at the option activity that we seen on Friday, you had 5 orders totaling $466.43 thousand with a positive order value of 85%. You did have volume to the call side of 59.41%, volume to the put side of 40.59%. So, numbers looking okay here, not as good as what we've seen prior. Now, for December 29th, this upcoming week, you did have volume roughly in line with the open interest number, open interest at 68,000 or 68%, and put open interest at about 32%. So some decent looking numbers here. Nothing too, nothing too bad, but not as good as what we've seen prior. But again, that positive order value of 85% on Friday, definitely way higher than what we're used to seeing. Over the past week, you have seen 19 orders totaling $1.43 million with a positive order value of 32%. Now, if we take a look at the short positioning, you do have short interest off free flow at 9.12%, $137 million worth of short positions. Days to cover 1.11 days, 22.56 million shares that are currently sold short, 15.16 million shares that are currently out on loan. Cost to borrow 1.09%, utilization of 20.65%, and a short score of 50.05 out of 100. Again, nothing that looks too good here, but I think these numbers are completely false. I do think the numbers, especially for the short interest, you're short hundreds of percents, not 9%. Come on. Give me a break there. Who are they trying to fool? That's I think the bigger question. Who are they really trying to fool with those numbers? I don't know. Now, for this upcoming week, which markets will be closed coming tomorrow on Monday, but we will be open again on Tuesday. So expiring this week, you do have currently 7,616 calls in the money, about 57,000 calls out the money, 11,000 puts in the money, and about 20,000 puts that are out of the money. So quite a decent amount of option activity. A lot of the numbers for this week or last week are going to roll over into this upcoming week. So I do expect the numbers will get larger here, just across the board, but that's not a guarantee. I expect there's going to be quite a bit of volatility, maybe not this week, but the next week. I think this upcoming week, you could probably see a melt up higher, or potentially a meltdown lower. It's really hard to say when there's so much profit in such a few select names for 2023. Like, you could probably see the indexes fall because I would imagine some people are going to sell Apple or Microsoft or some of these other names that did very well in 2023. Maybe you put that money into small and mid-cap stocks that don't have really any weighting in the indexes. And what would that do? Well, that would cause indexes to fall. That would cause small, mid-cap stocks to rise. So that's something I'm kind of looking forward to as well in this upcoming week. Now, if you take a look at the AI Investor Sentiment Survey, 52.9% of investors are bullish, 26.2% are neutral, and 20.9% of investors are bearish. So the bulls are definitely in control right here and right now. Now with AMC stock continues to basically hit a new multi-year low almost every single trading day. Not on Friday, but on Thursday you did. I think at some point this does turn around, but you want to see some fundamental good news. You want to see Adam Aron make some kind of commitment to not dilute shareholders for a period of time, whether it's 3 months, whether it's 6 months. That opens the door for a larger move higher. That opens the door for, hundreds of percents worth of gains. If that does not happen, then it might take quite a while to get AMC to actually start performing very well. I think maybe it's when the Fed cuts rates for the first time. Maybe that happens in March, and then you see more capital come into our markets, like by more capital, like hundreds of billions of dollars pretty quickly, and that could have a larger impact on AMC and your average kind of small and mid-cap stock. But we'll have to wait and see. Right now, things just do not look all too good. The RSI is sitting at 34, so definitely on the low end there, and the MACD is pretty neutral across the board, slightly negative on the overall signal and MACD lines, but not by all too much. So surprisingly, it's still pretty neutral. RSI though, definitely on the oversold side. So let me know what you guys think about this information down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.